The protagonist, Gio, has a dream one night where a man apologizes to her as she cries. Then he softly says, "It's fine. Let's get married." Through her tears, she asks, "Is it really that easy for you to change your mind?" He hugs her tightly and replies, "You're difficult for me. I feel guilty that someone like you likes someone like me." As he speaks, she pulls an Olympic medal from her pocket. At that moment, Gio wakes up. It was the month of April. She sat on a bus, thinking about how she should be practicing right now, but instead, she was stuck with a cast on her leg. It was all Seo's fault, her little brother, who had tried to jump off the balcony after their dad scolded him for drinking when he was still in high school. She had tried to stop him, but ended up falling with him instead. Her parents worked hard to provide for them. Her little brother was a rebel, and she had been practicing taekwondo to make it to the Olympics and bring pride to her family. But now everything had come crashing down. Sitting there, she thought to herself, I saved my brother's life, but I lost a year or more, when I'm supposed to be the eldest daughter who supports the family. Just then, a boy from her school stepped onto the bus. He looked like an athlete. As he moved to sit in the seat ahead of her, he muttered a quiet hello. This confused her. She had never seen him before. She took notice of his broad shoulders and the many ear piercings he had. He smelled like soap, and for some reason, that thought made her want to laugh. After all, she was probably the only one who could smell it. She tried hard to stifle her laughter, but suddenly, the boy turned his head slightly. Gio froze. Did he hear me sniffing? Then, in a hushed voice, the boy whispered, "Pervert," and smirked. He totally heard it. Gio's face burned with embarrassment. She considered explaining herself, but immediately thought that would be even weirder. The whole situation drove her nuts. Ever since he stepped onto the bus, she hadn't been able to stop thinking about him. Blushing, she wondered, what is his deal? Later, she ran into the sports team, something she had wanted to avoid. Watching them practice, she couldn't help but express her envy toward those who could still train. There, she met her friend Giseong, who asked about her leg's condition, but even while talking to him, her mind kept drifting back to the boy from the bus. Suddenly, a girl named Unsu approached and bluntly told Gio not to bother coming to practice since she wouldn't be able to participate in the nationals anyway. Jiseong shot back, telling Unsu to watch her mouth, but Unsu merely smirked and said, Gio was the one who always lectured everyone about how taking care of your body is part of your skill too. Gio didn't back down. I could still beat you even with a cast, she said. Then she added, I know you watch my training videos to learn from me. Unsu's face turned red with embarrassment, and she stormed off. Afterward, Giseong also left, and from the way he acted, it seemed like he had feelings for Gio. In the classroom, when the teacher asked about Gio's absence, Giseong tried to cover for her, saying she might be sick. But Unsu immediately interjected, saying Gio looked completely fine. Annoyed, Giseong asked her, What's your deal? Unsu sighed. It's not that I hate Gio, it's just, I think she's a genius. What I do hate is a genius acting all pitiful. At that moment, Gio was climbing the stairs to the rooftop, lost in thought. She knew that while she was limping, people like Unsu would get ahead of her. And as much as she hated to admit it, there was some truth in what Unsu had said. When she reached the rooftop, a voice called out, You can't just come up here whenever you want. She turned to see the same boy from the bus. And how come you're here then? She shot back. He just laughed and set his coat down for her to sit on. Gio hesitated before asking, Do you know me? You said hello on the bus. The boy smirked. Did I really say that? Then, without waiting for an answer, he introduced himself. Gyol Cha. With a teasing smile, he added, Looked like you were dying to know my name. I was not, she huffed. But then, curiosity got the better of her. What's your full name? Hearing that, Gyol chuckled. You almost made me upset, thinking you weren't curious at all. As they talked, all of Gio's previous anxiety seemed to fade away. She later wondered if she had known what would happen, would she have tried harder to keep her cool? If only I had known that first love is always helpless. Later, Gio was chatting with Giseong about her younger brother, Seo, and how he had recently bleached his hair. I can't stand the sight of his blonde hair, but Seo actually pulls it off. He has a cute face. Gio frowned. Black hair looks better, she muttered absent-mindedly, then added, piercings look good too. Her mind was drifting to Gyeol as she spoke. Giseong suddenly spotted something outside the window and quickly left without telling her anything. What he had actually seen was Seo with a rough-looking crowd. Sensing trouble, he decided to follow them. Seo looked terrified, standing beneath a tall boy's arm. One of the guys, a man with a scar on his face, grinned and asked, "Which one is Seo?" Another guy answered, the one standing under Jeol's arm. The scar-faced man smiled wider and said, "Hand the kid over to Jisong." Gisong's gaze snapped to the boy standing next to Seo. Gyeol exhaled, puffing from an electric cigarette. With an easy smile, he turned to Seo and asked, "Do you want to go with Gisong?"